Good morning, afternoon, evening. This show is sponsored by Zoopla. It's not, but
Oh my God, imagine if they
imagine
sponsored
we should, like, we're 75 episodes in. Surely someone wants
wants
to
to
give us
sponsor.
some fazools to,
put their logo on it.
yeah, just have a Right Move bottle there or a Zoopla poster in the background. Probably not, because not mention it, but that wire looks well in the way of me looking at the central camera.
It's not in the way.
No, brilliant.
It's not
Okay,
in the way.
just checking.
It's not in the shop.
This one off the screen.
It's not in the shop. It's not in the shop. It's not in the shop. Welcome back to Making Video Your Business.
With Matt.
And Chris. Oh no, Chris. And Matt. No, that's even still wrong. With Chris and Matt.
What kind of videos can these guys be making? We're talking estate agency now, right? So,
Well, we could talk any business. So, I mean, if we're general about business video, there's any number of bits and pieces that you can make, but there are some kind of staple bits that you and I have made for a long time that have good return on investment. So good ROI for business. So business profiling, because what we always say, actually, let's frame this before. You don't always need a professional crew to come in and make your stuff, right?
True.
You can very easily with your smartphone, with a reasonably inexpensive camera, with a DV camera or like an old SLR or whatever, get some bits and bobs that will service your social media channels. That's absolutely fine. However, businesses that get to a certain level after they've done that kind of initial startup phase, the bootstrapped, the kind of early parts of the business, they're going to want to start to have a nicer looking website with nicer looking content. And so you might want to start thinking about having some professionally shot stuff that are kind of the bedrock of your social channels. You can reuse them, recycle them through your channels, all those other sorts of things. So that said, going back to the question, what can people make or what should people be making? Business profile, really important. Something that is a marquee piece about everything you do, how you do it, interviews with your owners, directors, key members of staff, key managers, whatever, for businesses of any size.
Essential to show off your team.
Absolutely essential. And the great thing about that sort of piece of video content is it's the recyclability of it. So you can put it on your website, on your About Us page, get 2 years worth of life out of that investment. So good ROI.
And as we always say, Chris, not everyone's on the internet.
Not everyone's on the internet at the same time. So use it again, right? So that's key. Things like staff testimonials, brilliant. Why is it great to work for your company? Why have they stayed? What do they love about working there? Great. And also meet the team bits are really, really good so that your existing customers as well as potential customers can get a bit more of an insight into who they're dealing with day to day, and what those people really think and how they, why they like what they do and, a bit about them outside of work to sort of endear themselves to your customers and to your potential new customers.
Yeah, I mean, I was up in Newcastle a couple of weekends ago. Some friends of mine just had a baby. Shout out to Harry Irwin, the newest arrival. But we went to a butcher's, and the chap I was with went there because he knew the guy, knew the butchers, knew the business, and essentially has already met his staff, met his team before. And that's why he keeps going back, because he knows the guy. Whether he gets as good a service as the next person, probably. But you negate that empty shop syndrome where, if you're an estate agent and someone walks in and wants to inquire face to face rather than online, it's really nice for you to be able to have let the potential customers in your business life meet the people they might be dealing with before they walk into the shop. I'm not saying it's a nerve-wracking experience walking into the shop, right? But if Jane or John's behind the desk and they stand up and say, "Oh, good morning, how can I help?" and you've already met them on video, it's just a bit easier to start that transaction or that conversation, I think. So
100%. So yeah, in addition, things like testimonials, the value of that online, that social proof.
Isn't it? Well, because people sort of don't believe written reviews as much nowadays, the power of Amazon and the fact that,
well, Trustpilot, all that sort of stuff, it's good.
Oh no, and written is good, and Google reviews and Esther reviews and everything else.
The problem is that they are fallible, and it's quite common, particularly you mentioned Amazon, to see, isn't it, where someone's launched a product and you've got 3 or 4 people go, "Oh yeah, this is fantastic," and then it's like, "This is absolute shit. Don't buy it.
Worst
1 star,
product
worst product ever." And you actually go to them, and they're a competitor, and they've put a crap review on to try and stop you buying that to buy theirs. And that happens a lot. Buying reviews happens a lot. That's why trusted partners like the esters, for example, where they actually regulate who's leaving.
Yes,
Reviews
exactly,
and things like that's really key.
Yeah. No, they've got that nailed.
They've got that nailed.
Actually, chatting with Ben Marley a few months ago on this very podcast.
Great
they
guy.
said, great guy, top man, lovely man.
Irritatingly good golfer.
Yeah, handsome, good golfer, goes to the gym a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I asked him whether they were considering sort of leveraging video in their sort of feedback process, in their leaving reviews process, and he said obviously that's something they are considering because the way that the internet's going and
video reviews, I mean testimonials, they're so powerful. If you make anything, like if you can get one thing, just one thing, whether they're professionally made, whether you do them yourself, whatever. Testimonials, man, they are absolute fire. Case studies as well. We've just done a few case studies for some businesses. A big architectural firm in Manchester, we did one, and it was a couple of tech companies who came together to say, oh, this company, this big architectural firm, they designed number one Blackfriars in London, so they're proper, like they're big firm, right? Very, very well heeled, yeah. And they used these two bits of software, and the two software providers were like, look, these are a great client for us, they're well known, they're very reputable, can we get like a testimonial talking about the use of our software within their business? Super powerful, and that's been used loads to drive new business growth, because someone saying your product or your service is great that isn't a flat bit of text or whatever, that can be qualified and say, actually Dave does work for Dave's architects or whatever. We can actually Google Dave and realize he is a real person, he has a real job, he's really believes this, because he's gone on camera and he's stuck his flag in the ground and gone, I like this. I think this is great. I actually did one myself. I was in one for a company we've worked with a couple of times, Lemon and Lime Interiors.
You were recently.
And I was so blown away by their service. They said, would you give us a case study? I was like, absolutely. Absolutely, because I was blown away by the service. I've just used MKM Building Supplies, and I'm going to do one for them because I was blown away by the quality of their products.
Yeah, I mean, great company, great service, great products, quality products.
Yeah.
Two things on that one. I mean, testimonials, yeah, definitely. And also you'll find that if people are willing to give you one, it's normally a glowing one, right? Because
of course,
they're, like you say, they're willing to put their flag in the ground.
100%, yeah.
Testimonials, I mean, let's face it, when we make a purchase or we land on a website for the first time, normally, unless it's like an Amazon style site, you don't necessarily buy something straight away.
No.
Especially maybe as the male of the species, we like to do the reviewing and check which.
I think that depends on cost.
It does. I mean, okay, yeah, sort of sub £10.
Oh yeah,
you're probably just going to make a purchase because you need it. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Actually, a bigger, more valuable purchase. Yeah. And you were saying about having the professional stuff made. Would you say it's a case of don't stop doing the stuff that maybe the guerrilla stuff that you'd make on your phone and the sort of instantaneous stuff, but also start, as your business grows, mix it in with the professional stuff and have that blend of.
I would never say to anyone, stop making bits of quick fire video content. So we're a professional, if anyone didn't know, we're a professional video company, right? We make great looking visuals for people all over the UK. All right. We don't really do a lot of outward sales, and the purpose of this podcast isn't for that. It's to help people think more seriously about their visuals, right? But we are a professional outfit. But once a month we put a professionally produced behind the scenes video out, right? We also put out on our social channels stuff we've made for other people. We also made a hilarious advert for some of the merch we were giving away at a recent event. Pop Socket, yeah.
Pop Socket.
Where I'm in a see-through apron.
Pop.
Hilarious.
I mean, it's
that's all professional. But right, you and I both still make a quick WhatsApp round video to send to a client, or we will do a quick Facebook Live because we're jazzed about something, or we'll be on site speaking at an event or exhibiting somewhere, and we'll just do a quick to phone clip, come and see us on the stand or whatever. Or there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong. Even us who have the ability to make incredible looking stuff, we still use bits of guerrilla style video, because to be honest, it's about that mix. It's really key to have that mix. If everything you do has this sort of professional glaze, it sort of becomes a bit false.
And also a bit of an obstacle because you
100%.
stop putting out. You could put stuff out
Yeah.
that you won't because
Yeah,
it's not
it becomes a barrier.
professionally
Yeah.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes a barrier, and it almost inhibits a bit of creativity. You know, it's good to have, and you often say like about me having a stupid idea on a lilo, and that that happens, you know, when your brain sort of isn't thinking about work, and then you're like, it sort of wanders, and you go, oh, actually, that would be hilarious. There's nothing wrong with that being there would have been nothing wrong with that if it had been shot on a phone and been done as a reel, as a Facebook reel.
Oh,
as
completely.
It's just that we can, so we did,
Yeah.
right? But I think the immediacy of having your phone in your pocket, having an idea. I'll tell you who's brilliant at that. Toby Martin, who's a friend of ours. He's an estate agent, in Bath at Reside, and he's just so good at. He's such a smart bloke, right? And also lovely, like an absolute diamond chap.
He's
right?
up there, isn't he?
He's just such a nice guy, but he's really, really good at looking at trends on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, and not just jumping on the bandwagon of a trend, right? And doing the same, you know, when, you know, like, you know, the chicken nugget man, very good, very nice.
Very good.
There was a lot of TikToks just where people were walking around their garden saying very good, very nice, right? And that's just jumping on a trend. He's very good at looking at a trend and then adapting that trend to put it into a property context or put it into an estate agency context.
Yeah,
or
a news update.
Yeah, really, really good.
He's got finger on the pulse.
Oh, really good. And you know, when Rishi Sunak was stood in the rain, like announcing the election, he got the garden hose on and someone was wetting it, but he was talking about the death of, you know, of government policy around renters reform, the renters reform bill. And it was just, it's funny, but it's guerrilla. He makes it on his phone, you know, so, you know, so he doesn't always have to be professional, is what I'm saying. But yeah, so going back to it, you know, my top 3 things that you should be making as a business, video content should be definitely have a business profile made. Whoever you use, make that good marquee bit. Do something as well as you can, testimonials wise, a case study wise, brilliant. Case studies, testimonials, phenomenal, and put your people forward. So meet the team videos, and getting to know you sorts of bits that push your people front and center, really, really key. Because I say this all the time, and so do you. You know, there are lots and lots of companies who do the same thing as you. The intangible things are how you deliver service and the people that you have to deliver it. The other things, everyone can do it. You know, if you're an accountant, you're an accountant. If you're an estate agent, you're an estate agent. If you're a video company, you're a video company. You know, people assume as a professional business, the output of all of those businesses will be of a similar standard. It's the people who deliver the service that make the difference. And that's where you can have real gains by putting those people front and center.
It's interesting you say that because we'll talk about it in another episode, but a lot of business owners worry their staff essentially becoming personal branded and leaving. I know there's quite a high churn in the estate agency industry anyway, but we'll talk about that in another episode because I don't think you should fear it as much as you
let's talk about that in another episode.
Originally think.
But until then, have a fantastic
great summer holidays,
everybody. Enjoy the summer. Let's hope the weather isn't terrible.
I don't think it will be. I'm going to Amsterdam in 2 weeks, so come on England for the Euros.
Come on England.